Yes, right? So the format is like I'll introduce you first to all the listeners, then we'll come up with the discussions, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, YouTube is going live, live, live. Yeah, great. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving into a topic that I promise will change the way you see your health and the happiness. Now I know we spend so much time talking about discipline, work, productivity, but what if I told you that the secret to your best mental and the physical wellness isn't about grinding harder, but about playing more? Yes, you heard it right. Play. Yeah. And who better to help us unlock the magic of play than our guest today, Xander Helps. So welcome to the show, Xander.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Lovely, lovely. So, Xander, like before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all the listeners. So, dear listeners, Xander has spent over a decade of backpacking across the world with nothing but a pack on his back and a sack in his pocket. I really love this because I was a backpack traveler. Somehow,
Nice.
I got caught into few things by. But if you say, Avik, this is a plan coming up, would you like to go? I am on my toes. I'm really ready. I'm just I love backpacking and sudden plans and go for trekking or any travel destinations. I love that. I really love that, so I'll definitely enjoy it. So but dear listeners, here's the real gem, because uh, his biggest discovery wasn't in a book or a kind of lecture hall. So it was in the universal language of play. So through movement, laughter, and simple games, he has connected with people across cultures and unlocked a profound truth. Like, play isn't just for kids, it's a key to overcoming stress, loneliness, and even physical ailments. So get ready, because this episode is all about how embracing play can heal your body, sharpen your minds, and maybe even transform the way you experience life. So let's jump in. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Good stuff.
Lovely.
Perfect.
So Xander, play. I have to start with this. How did your journey of discovering the power of play begin?
Well, quite simply, I was in a very stressful job for a while. I slept at work basically. And so I was working what we called 100-hour weeks. I got very burnt out.
Hmm.
So I kind of had a choice either to continue that or try something different. I decided to try something different. I got all my things down to a backpack. And then just as I was about ready to leave, one of my friends, he's like, "Hey, do you have a foot bag with you?" I'm like, "No." And so he pulled one out of his pocket and he gave me one. He's like, "Keep this in your pocket. It's going to be the best gift anyone will ever give you." And it was his foot bag, or what we call a hacky sack. But
Oh,
right, hacky sack's owned by Whammo. So but the generic name is a foot bag.
okay.
And that transformed my world. Like that one simple gift that my friend gave me, like I would I can go to anywhere in the world. I'm and start playing. I would just go to a park. Is one of the first things I did was just go to a park and start playing, and almost inevitably somebody would come up and want to play with me. And this person was a fun-loving person. They were outgoing. They weren't afraid to come up to a stranger and start playing. So it's already a certain level of a character, but then we started playing a game that we're working together with. There's no violence, it's cooperative competition. So you immediately find out what that person's all about in this fun, amazing way.
Wow. Understood. Yeah.
It's
So,
incredible.
yeah, it's incredible. That's really incredible. I was just about to say this. So, you literally lived out what so many of us dream of. Traveling the world, meeting new people, learning from different cultures. Oh. So, what was the moment when you realized that um, play wasn't just a kind of fun activity, but it's kind of life-changing force?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I could say literally the first time I played Hatback because I was going when I was going to the airport, my flight was 3 hours delayed.
Oh.
So I mean, there's a whole story of how I just went to a corner and started playing, and then a guy came up and played with me, but we played for the whole 3 hours, right?
Hmm.
But we got the call from the hostess lady, and she's like, "The plane's about ready to leave. Come on over here, guys." So
Hmm.
we gathered up our stuff, we run to the terminal, and then the hostess lady just stopped us, and she said,
Hmm.
I just want to say thank you. You guys kept this crowd entertained for 3 hours. You have no idea how many people were talking about how fun it was to watch you guys play. And this was in 1995, so it was the cell phone era where everyone's locked in and nobody looks around and it, you know, it so at that moment I realized how cool it was. But then when I got to my seat in the plane, my body was just feeling amazing. I mean, there's another story about me walking to my seat and this guy gave me a high five as I was walking down the alley and the whole family was looking at me, just giving me clapping and stuff like that. And everyone I felt like a superstar that way. But when I got into my seat and actually felt my body out, I've just done 3 hours of core crunching, bouncing in my body, and laughing with this other person, and everything was tingling. It was just amazing. So that's when I kind of got a glimpse of how cool it was. But later on, I mean, I kept on playing hack for a number, I've played hack ever since,
Hmm.
and that was in 95. But I learned juggling pretty quickly after that. And juggling is another layer to being able to play with your brain in the most efficient way. So, I call hack the ultimate physical exercise. I call juggling the ultimate brain exercise. And they're
Hmm.
just both ways of profound play.
Wow. And on this, uh, I mean, looking back, uh, was there a particular experience or maybe the person that you met that solidified this relation for you?
I mean, literally, I think it was pretty much everybody. Like every person that I was able to play with, and got that smile with them, that connection. Um, it was it just continually gave me a sense of I'm doing myself good, but I'm also helping the world out in some way. I'm getting another person to experience that joy of play. So I learned how to make them eventually because my I lost my one that my friend gave me, and so I had to learn how to make them. But then I was able to gift them away to everybody I played with, and I would just say, "Keep it in your pocket. It's gonna be the best gift anyone will ever give you." And literally, I've given away thousands of these over the years.
Mhm.
So, from people all over the world. And, I'm connected with them because I've made it, I put my time and my energy into it. So when I gift it away to somebody else, I'm still connected with this sack. And so when they play it or something like that, I get a good vibe. But it's hard. There are many times in my life when, I've had great hack circles, but I guess, that's when everyone in the circle gathers around and kicks it around. But I do have one profound moment in Australia where we were kicking it from people literally from all over the world. We had Japanese, we had, Korean, we had an Indian, we had, uh, you know, South Americans. We had everybody from we had like 25 people in a circle and everybody had a different style and everyone was working together. And then at the end of it, after like almost 3 hours, we had where everyone touched it in the circle. It was an amazing thing. And then we all just came in and like we all grabbed arms around each other and just came into the middle in this wave of love for the guy in the middle who just did an amazing job. That was probably my most profound experience I've ever had playing hack, just because there were so many people and it was such an amazing vibe.
Perfect. Understood. Lovely.
Yeah.
And I mean, uh, there's a lot of things. I'm just thinking which one to I mean, you talk about play, right? Play being the cure for our modern mental health crisis. Um, kind of, especially in this area, sorry, especially in this era of technology which is taking over. uh, I mean, that's a big statement, right? So how do you see, how do you see play as the antidote to the depression, anxiety, and the disconnection?
Well, uh, it starts off with just being able to get off the phone. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Because when we lock in, we're in social media world and stuff like that. We're constantly being bombarded by all this external information, the stuff that doesn't really pertain to our world, and we're affected by all these different things and people portraying what life is supposed to be about. So we get locked into that. So the first step is kind of being able to step away from that for a while. So what my recommendation or my prescription is to get outside and play more. But I've found that the ways to distract yourself, like with juggling, when you start juggling, and you do that, your brain creates the dopamine, the epinephrine, the other brain chemicals that are addictive, that you get addicted to juggling. Um, but so that's a simple way of doing it, just to reset yourself. But juggling also, it builds white as well as gray matter in the brain. The way it affects your left and right hemispheres on the corpus callosum, which is your connector, is unique. It's a way of it actually stimulates um, synapses to grow in different ways and connects the whole brain holistically. But on top of producing these endorphins, these brain chemicals that make you feel good, it pulls the addiction thing away from the other addictions. It's great for recovery. Like I work with youth that are going through recovery from alcohol or drugs or something like that because it helps pull that addiction away and creates a more of addiction to juggling. That's one way of doing it. And you can always do it by yourself in your room, and you can always learn a new trick. So there's infinite ways to just to entertain yourself. If you want to meet new people, just go to a park and play. If you go to a park, it's a park is inviting for people to play. That's what a park kind of is. But if you go there and you just kick it, and find a time that you go out there and do it, like, once, twice a week or something like that, and you have a time that you go, you eventually have people who jump in and want to play with you. And then you have another friend and you have somebody else you can join with. And you could say, hey, let's meet here next week. And then all of a sudden you have another person who jumps in. Then you have a group of people who are now playing together. And this gives you something to look forward to. It gives you a connection. It gives you a reason to make it through another day. Because look, there's something else down the road. And that's a thing that we're lacking right now because everyone's on a day-to-day basis with this thing. What's scrolling right now? Okay, what's going on right now? But what's going on tomorrow? Well, I'm just going to scroll back to this. But you don't have anything that's fun planned, or you know the next thing that's going to make you really look forward to that day. Play does that.
Exactly, very true. It's it's lovely to learn this, and like so many adults feel that too busy or maybe even embarrassed to play. But how do we shift that mindset and invite play back into our daily lives? I mean, if you can suggest something.
That's a great question. First of all, play is similar to me for meditation. If you don't think you have enough time for meditation, you need to meditate more. Play is the same thing. If you don't think you have time for play, you need to play more. You got to start prioritizing your health, your
Hmm,
mental health, and make play a priority.
hmm,
Um, there are infinite ways to play. I mean, my foundations are juggling and hack
hmm,
for mental and physical health. Those are the two things I think anybody could learn to juggle. And I mean, not everybody can learn to hack because it does take a certain level, age level, and past a certain age level, it's very challenging. But there's a sweet middle ground that's pretty expansive where you can learn to kick around a hack. But you can play cards, you can play dice, you can play drawings, you can do something that gets you into that what I call the play flow state. And it's just a way of reawakening that inner child that we all have that wants to come out and experience the world in a playful way.
hmm,
We have to remember and get it that play is not the antithesis to work. Like that has been something where we have to work. It's not time for play. That that is a falsity. Like play actually, when you find that time, if you're in a stressful day and you take that 5 minute break to learn to do some juggling or something like that, it resets your brain. It's proven to increase performance. And especially in the workforce, if you set play as a priority for your group and you say, look, we're going to go, we have a ping pong table over there in the corner. Anytime you're stressed out, go play some ping pong. Or we're gonna have this time where we do this fun thing. We just throw things at each other. I mean, a little side note. I was gonna work for a company. I went in for an interview, and all of them had Nerf guns. And anytime that there was a time, the manager would go, "All right, shoot them up," and everyone would take up their Nerf guns and just start pegging people. It cut the stress out immediately. Everyone refocused and it brought fun into the workplace. I thought it was a huge idea. So, play is something that we are born here to do. And once we can start remembering that and incorporating that more into our life, it you want to do more play. So you'll find a way to do it with everything. If I'm cleaning my house, I'm doing a little dance or singing to myself. I'm finding ways to play in even the mundane situations, just so my brain can stay in that lovely childlike flow.
Mm, got it. And like I love the phrase also that play with thyself. I mean, it's playful, but also profound at the same time. So, if you can break down like what I mean, it really means. I mean, if you could say.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I think I missed that.
Oh, okay. I was saying like I love this phase that play with thyself. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely profound and a playful. Ah, I mean, if you can uh, briefly mention this, what it really means.
Well, play with thyself. I consider it like the point five commandment. Like I consider it like to preempt all the other things that we're supposed to do here. This is supposed to be a playground for our spirit. We come down here in a physical body to experience a separation, if you will. So to be able to play in this body seems to me the purpose. Like children,
Hmm.
when they how they learn is through play. Like, and it's also proven that it takes 200 to 300 repetitions to learn something, unless
Hmm.
you do it through play. And then it takes 15 to 20 times. So play is embedded into our DNA. It's the way we
Hmm.
actually see the world. And this world that gets us stressed out and pulls us away from it is just not healthy.
Yeah.
So we've got to find ways to incorporate it for ourselves. And that affects the world. That affects everything. Because if you're playful and you're in a happy state, it's contagious. It just is. All right.
That
And the first one you got to play with is yourself.
exactly.
That's the first step, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, you're saying something. Yeah, please.
oh no, no, that was basically, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's it. That's the the foundation is
Ah,
play. Play with thyself.
true. True. Very true. Yeah. I mean, like, now I have to ask this one. But I mean, uh, your personal healing, your personal healing journey. I mean, so you healed from your own hernia through play. So that's mind blowing, I have to say, because you can walk. I mean, if you can walk us through like how that happened and uh, what you learned from that process.
Okay. Yeah, I had an inguinal hernia back in 2015. So 10 years now. Um, and I was playing with my son when we were jumping on a trampoline, and then it happened. It popped out, and went to a doctor, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a hernia. You either can get the surgery done, or you're just gonna have to live with it." And so I did some research on the internet, and I did not want to get the surgery. I don't like surgery in general. It's just there's always a risk. But the thing that they would typically do is stick a mesh in there, and that is it's traumatizing for your body. It's a foreign substance, so it's always trying to push it out, and then you have scar tissue that forms on it, and it just
Mm.
causes all kinds of issues. And it might not show up directly. It might be fine for a number of years, and then all of a sudden it's not fine. But by that time, you can't pull it out because all the fascia and the connective tissue has stuck onto it, and so if you rip it out, it's catastrophic for the whole body. So
Mm.
that's a problem. Um, and then when I try to find other ways of curing it, there wasn't anything really on the internet. So I started just doing things that I thought would work. Like I did a special vacuum breath thing where you suck in your core and you just breathe into it and move all the muscles around, which realigns everything. I did a castor oil treatment that was from Edgar Casey that I would do every night, followed by a self massage. I started eating a lot of aloe vera and putting it on the wound, and just did various things that I thought would really help. And play was my focus. I have to get back to my playful state. I was living on in Hawaii at the time, and I was known as the ambassador of play. So for me, not be able to play because walking was even uncomfortable. I couldn't run around. I couldn't kick around my hack. So play was my motivator. It's like I told myself I'd give myself 6 months, and if I did not get it cured at 6 months, I was going to get the surgery. But within 2 weeks, the hernia went back inside, and I was still very careful for like the first and then after about a month, I started kicking around a hack, which was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then in 2 months, I was actually on the field playing ultimate frisbee or ultimate disc with the Kauai team I was on. So that's really challenging for your body. You're running around and moving quickly, and so your body has to be in really good shape to do that. And at that point, I knew that I cured it. I knew that it was good to go. So I'm not at this point now. It's been 10 years, no recurrence, no more pain. And so you know, another thing with surgeries, you can have a reoccurrence even with the surgery, but then you're stuck not knowing what to do. So I put together a program for people to show how to do it. So if you ever get a recurrence, if it ever happens again, you know what to do. So that's basically it. But play was my motivator.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's great. And lovely. So we know that kids play naturally, right? Yeah. So yeah, so I was saying like we know that kids play naturally, but somewhere along the way, adults lose this spark.
Yep.
And if you could leave our listeners with one powerful message about why they need to bring play back into their lives,
Oh.
and what would it be?
Well, yeah, that I mean, there's a whole stepping process of how children lose to play. I mean, once you go into a school system,
Uh,
they conform it to recess, and then later on, it's in high school, it's competitive sports. That's what they consider play. And then when you get to the workforce, play is not allowed. So slowly, and you have to grow up, and slowly we start getting it out of our system. So adults if you have children, watch your children. Watch how they play, get involved with the way they play. They'll come up with the spontaneity that will start getting you more creative and think about how to play with them in that way. Get into their world. Be open to that possibility. Don't try and shut that play down. Whatever you do, don't try and shut that down, please. Um, as adults, find your way to play. We all have a spark. We all have something we want to do. You know, a lot of people find play in competitive sports. I would recommend trying to take it less competitive, less relying on the outcome and focus more on the joy of every part of it. Because that reawakens the inner playful child. Competitive sports kind of take that away because children don't want to play that way. They Their instinct is not to dominate another team. Their instinct is to adjust things so that the play will go on longer and more people have fun. That's the key. Because when you get to competitive play and you start shifting more to that way, your brain gets into that mode of like, I've got to win or blah, blah, blah. And then you want to crush another person. And that's kind of not where you want to be at as far as awakening that play flow state, because that's your whole brain activated.
Mhm.
So find your way to play. That's the main point. There are steps to it. I recommend every person should learn how to juggle. If you have two arms, you know what I mean? There's one arm juggling, and God bless. But if you're every person, if you can learn juggling, it's going to make a huge difference in your life. It affects so many other things, and it is something that everybody can learn how to do pretty easily. I do have the best juggling course for free online, but one of my passions is teaching as many people in the world to learn how to juggle, because it's something that you can do for your whole life, and you can always learn new tricks. So juggling.
Juggling, definitely. That's really juggling, yeah. Oh, so I mean, any one more advice you would share with the listeners?
Oh gosh, yeah, just enjoy and try and enjoy the moments of every day. I mean, it's challenging time out there, Avik. I mean, honestly, we are in a in a very interesting world right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that the way things can be going, and we got to keep our humanity. We've got to be able to recognize that we're in this together. And uh, any chance, any way that you can bring a little bit of joy into your life, into somebody else's life, um, make it happen. Smile more, uh, give gratitude to people more, and this will help change our world. Because the more you give, the more you receive. That's the truth. So if you find the ways to do that every day, and give blessings and thanks, gratitude, you're gonna reciprocate that. So we need more of that than anything else.
Understood. That's really great help, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's really lovely. And Xander, I mean, this conversation is really, really and truly eye-opening. I love like how you have taken something as simple as play and revealed it as a kind of key to not just happiness but uh, deep healing in the collection. So that's really great. And for the listeners, like for all of you who are listening, I want you to take this to the heart. Like, play with thyself. Play isn't just an escape from adulthood, but it's kind of the missing link to a healthier and more joyful life. So today, I mean, I challenge you to do something playful, like as Xander was also mentioning, juggle. So juggle, dance, hacky sack. Yes.
Yep.
So so laugh for no reason. That's also amazing, right? Whatever it is, just let yourself be free, even for a moment. So that also will work. So because in that moment you are actually reconnecting with something truly, truly powerful and with yourself only, right?
Yeah. Profound. It's
Yeah.
profoundly you. That's the thing. So.
So Xander, like if someone wants to connect with you, how they can connect?
The best way, I mean, I have the website is hackido.org or hackido.org or .com. On there, I do have a juggling course, so I show you how to make nice juggling balls as well as the steps to learn how to juggle really fast and efficiently. Um, you can also learn how to make these on there. I have a stencil you can download, so you can make them out of any fabric. It's really easy to follow how to make these, and then you could put your own logos or your own designs on them, and then gift them away to people. And that's profound in many many ways. I also have a kit available. It's a little thing back there, but it has three of these patterns in there, the world patterns. That's why these ones are kind of cool. They have a little world on there, a globe. But I mean, and then I have other things on there. All the heal my hernia. If you have a hernia, go check out healmyhernia.com. There I give free everything that I've done for free, and then there's also a protocol that's it's a pay, but that gives you like more information. There's videos and stuff like that about how to heal a hernia. So those are probably the two best ways, and those are linked to my other websites. I also do origami, which is a brain exercise, and there's a way you can do that I have a free website that has a bunch of origami stuff on there, and my artwork. So
Yeah.
my artwork is another website that I have up there. But I got a lot of things going on, but they're all trying to make things the world a little bit better, if you will.
Exactly. I totally agree. I mean, I mean, so I'd love to share before we wrap. Like, I'd love to share this. As you mentioned, like you're doing a lot of things, right? So, I feel like, and even there were a few guests also. So if you listen to my this shows, you will find her episode also. So, it's very clear that, I mean, it's not for everyone that they do a lot of things all together, because they can do it. They can do it and they should do it. Why not? So I really love, like, if you can do more than one thing, and that is you are doing better, it's always best. It's always best. So yeah, I love that thing.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Exactly. So great. So, dear listeners, if you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And of course, like, if you want to dive deeper into Xander's world, check out the links I'll mention in the show notes for easy reference. And until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and never stop playing. So thank you so
Boom.
much.
Thank you, Vic.